Yo, so I was working a little bit over the weekend um, because what I realized was that, okay, I don't have access to any specific texture buffers like I was doing before, but I do have access to these UBOs, uniform buffers, and they actually happen to be large enough. So in my WASM window, no, it's OpenGL. At the very top, I'm having something is on my nose. Maybe it's my beard. Right. So all these things need to be a certain size. So what I did is I defined a minimum size. So for example, the minimum texture size we need is 1024. That should be supported by basically every system. Uniform vectors. These are these things, right? Like the matrix for transform matrix. 256. It's pretty low. Like this one already. I forget how big it is, but it's pretty large. You know, it's 4 times 4 times 4, right? So it's 64 bytes just for one matrix. And if you have 256, you can have what, 8 of them? I forget. 4 of them. Right. So like that's pretty small, but you know, it should be enough to have 256. I don't plan to have more than 4 matrices copied over. Then we have block size. And this block size is the actual interesting thing, because this uniform block size controls the size of the buffer that I'm using. And that should be rather large. It doesn't have to be as large as a texture or something like that. But, you know, 16K, 16 kilobytes, sorry, uh, is a good size, I think, minimum. And then the number of blocks. Now, I don't know what the number guaranteed is by OpenGL. I don't know what the minimum value is for this. I noticed that this 256 is probably the minimum. Some values are guaranteed by the implementation OpenGL, but I'm using 2, possibly, or like I would like to have 2. If I need more, I can, you know, put 4 there or something. Probably it's gonna be, you know, up to what, like 8 is or something is gonna be allowed. And here's an interesting thing. So in OpenGL on Windows, if I have my font, this is something I noticed. I have my uniform vertex memory here that is kind of, yeah, basically what I write here. This is a specific size based on the font, right? The number of characters and everything. But the issue is, if this thing is not a static size, if I just throw in like a huge number here, but I'm only, you know, in the actual implementation here, when I'm like compiling it and sending it up, I'm only saying, oh, this is this big. Sorry. Sorry. Like if I'm passing in 70 here instead, because that's how many characters I have, and then I just have, 1024 something huge because I want to be able to support some kind of maximum, so I know that, oh, I can support up to 70 characters, but blah blah blah. Doesn't work. OpenGL on Windows, it works, but not WebGL. So like this entire buffer just becomes literal zeros if it's not the same size as the one in the WASM when you compile it, when you compile the buffer, or create the buffer rather. Which is interesting, but that's how it is. So also, if you have a buffer for a shader, that means that you need to keep track. You can't share the buffer between different shaders if it's not the same size defined in the shader. So that's pretty annoying, but I guess that's just it being, very precise or something like that. So then we can have a maximum characters. We need to decide that. Of course, the size of this is going to look different in my call. So in here we are doing create mesh font. Here's the texture from before. So you can see here that we have 256 size of vertex font times 4. Now vertex font is 2 v2s, so that just happens to be a vec2, a vec4. Would be the same size as a vec4. So when I do this, it becomes the same as this, because this is just the byte count. Now, of course, now we need to define that here. So if we are having maximum glyphs, or is it? No, it's not maximum glyphs. It's like maximum string length. So there's two values, right? There's the length of the string that decides this buffer. This is just the same, but it has the offsets and indexes. And the offsets and indexes are the things that are deciding where it's deciding which vertices are being drawn, while this is the actual vertices. So we have string length, which is like an individual string, and then we're having the string glyph max, right? And I don't know what makes sense to put here. Like 256 sounds a lot. I know it's not a lot for something like Chinese, but realistically, do you need more even for a game? I'm not sure. Also for other other writing systems. So like, for example, does Arabic or Thai or Georgian, do they need more than 256? I don't think so. Like, I guess I could look that up. Mm-hmm. The full range of shapes. So like 1500-ish. Okay, Georgian is like a real alphabet. Thai 150, Hindi. Like I'm just throwing out languages there. Hundreds of glyphs. That's fine. Korean. Korean is super simple. Wait, what? Maybe the system is simple, but the way you build them up. Okay. That was I was completely wrong about that. Okay. Like just Japanese game, couple thousand. Also a couple thousand. So like all these Asian ones. What other ones are there? I can't think of anything in particular, but it seems like okay, if I would release something on in China, maybe I can get away with 2048, and probably that would be just barely supported. See, the thing is that this is multiplied by 16, so it is a high number. Now, a string length, that sounds like a lot, but it's not multiplied by 16, is it? It's a U what? And that's the question, right? What I did in my load load assets function. iBuff, right? iBuff is what? It's a glyph data struct, just locally declared here. So this is 4, 8, 12, 16 for padding. Wait. I'm being confused right now because 4v4s is a lot of bytes because each glyph is a v2 array of 4, right? Actually, no, not even that. It's a v2 and v2, right? Okay, so it is a v4 array of 4. So it was the 64 bytes. This is only 16. So like with this, they are both the same size, but you can see that this is dramatically higher. And obviously this is more useful for most languages. Most languages only have, 30, 40, 50 characters. Like 64 is completely fine. Then of course you have small and large characters, and you have symbols, maybe even emojis, like I don't know. So like 127, 256, that's good enough. Like this, they are the same size. Now I would like to define that something somewhere else. Now, does it need to be like we have the padding, so I don't think I can get away with something smaller. Could I? Um, because obviously, okay, these offsets can be I16s. It might even be able to be like I8. Glyph ID could be U16. And then we have a U8, a U32. Um, so that's way smaller, right? Now, actually, this offset is accumulative, right? So it's not that I get this offset for each character necessarily. I get this offset as a cursor. So that's why it's a I32. Because yeah, you just like add it over the course, and then this is a U32, and then that's U32 padding, and that was the reason, right? So again, like you could have multiple kinds of fonts. So you can have what I just wrote, and you can have what I wrote before. And this would be, but how would you? Mm, I don't know how I would even do it actually, because the problem is this is this shader right here. This needs to know the moment that it's like for every character at the same time. It needs to know the offset. So I can't like just add them up. I have to calculate them, which means that it has to be a I32. Because this is also not like just the pixels. It's like some kind of based on the size, or it's based on the design of the font or something like that. So like one character can have an offset of like hundreds. So you can't even for 1,000 characters you can't like get away with having just I16, and it has to be I because they can go either way, left or right. You don't know. Like obviously for Arabic fonts, they go to the left. That's negative. But literally, what I have in this project right now, if I compile it, we can run. Oh. If we run this, someone is at the door. It was nobody at the door. I don't know what to say. Anyway, I should probably change this build run script actually. Run. Um, what was I gonna say? I forget. But yeah, I think what I was gonna say is that this A literally is drawn at position -1. So that's just how it happens to be. So if this would be a U, then like this would instantly crash. Um, and that happened. So not so fun. So what is the goal today? The goal of today, I think, is that we need to clean this up, and we need to separate this from this font creation process and standardize it a little bit more, so I can just like throw in more fonts in here, because I would like to play around with different kinds of fonts, different languages. Also, this thing, you see this to do. And this to do. I should do something about that, right? So that's the goal for today, I think. And then in main here, like some of this code is unavoidable, but I still feel like this is very much ad hoc. But the problem is, if I would rewrite it, I need to load this data from somewhere. And I just don't know where to put it if not a metadata file. I could do something like load font and then give it a size and then run the same thing. And the question is, do I want to move this somewhere to like an assets file? Because I think it's going to be kind of unavoidable to have like specific load paths for different types of assets. But then I will have, one call to load the assets file, that all the assets are packaged. So then something is unpacking them and formatting them based on the type. But for that, I need to actually pack and maybe even create metadata files. So let's see. I want OpenGL here. And let's start with this thing, right? I don't really care about this vertex texture thing anymore. This, it doesn't need to be here at all. Mesh font something. Offsets and indexes. So string, right? And these offsets are the shaping. Offsets and indexes. It's the glyph shaping data. Or string shaping, right? Size. Or count. Length. Like I'm using font max length here, so I think it makes sense. Byte size. Size of ring shaping. But here, um, I can't do this because this is not the same. Let's try it because I think it was working before. This was definitely not working before, but maybe there's a difference. Yes, I need a mesh font. And I can detect errors here. So for example, if the length is larger than this is not including a zero terminator. So yeah. font max length. $1,024 is a restriction I can work with. I see. So I was just passing in the correct size here. 1024, yeah. So I can do, where the hell was I here? The buffer needs to be the same size. But I don't really care about that here. And these things can return errors. Well, not return, they are voids, but I can check for errors. Should be like that, by the way. I want to go to mesh font here. This is obviously a... Huh? Yeah. Index and offset. It's the string shaping integer. Now this obviously needs to be set when we run. So I need to check that somewhere later. We can set that, but it's not really used anywhere. Okay, so now, yeah, it's string shaping, and that's not it, because in my where do I call it here? No. Create a shader program. In here, obviously, I'm having these buffers. I need to set it up somewhere. Now, the obvious place to do it would be here. What do I want to do? We have our uniform count. We have our attribute count. We do need to set this. Program. So that means that this uniform blocks, I need to add that here. So we are having a 516 uniform block count and the shader uniform block. But I only need to set it once for the program. So it's not available on 3.0, but here's the funny thing. Huh? 3.0? Am I running 3.0? So we have WebGL. It's based on OpenGL ES 3.0. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. That was just a little bit confusing to me. Okay. Where was I? We have our shader uniform. We have shader attribute, and we need a shader block. Oh. Ah, so I can kind of get away with that. Yeah. Then I don't have to change very much. Hmm. Vertex memory. I forget what is this MVP. It stands for something like specific. MVP matrix. Model view projection. So I just want to call it projection probably. It has a texture in here. It's the alpha, not color texture. Mm, I don't know. Texture's fine. Texture slot. Yeah. Also, I want to have here a vec for color. And do I need a different... I do need a different type. Because this is like the color for all the pixels. Um, and then finally, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's not glyph memory, it's shaping. This doesn't crash anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you can have headers here as well. So if I would have multiple fonts, I can have the same maximum characters somewhere defined. I don't expect myself having that at the moment, but you know, just to mention it. So now we have 5 of these. Now when we loop over it, suddenly we have to do like a switch SP uniforms whoops, type, and then case shaduni transmat. Same thing for the color or text slots. Color, and then for blocks, and that's all we have. So default. Um, yeah, line, well, oh, I forget the file. Oh, I don't have. Well, it's this. That's the function call. I should define. I should define something different. Okay. So wait. Expression. Is that? That's not mine. Assert.h. Where am I including assert.h? Hold on. That's it. I am not including it anywhere, am I? I am. Why do I need it? I'm not even using it. This is debug break. It's... Where is that defined? In trin.h. Externals. Well, I don't care about externals. They all like to include assert. I don't know if I can get around that. Like in the game, it works. But in the game, can I do... Hold on. Can I do that? How do I do this? What is it? If I have this, I did it backwards, of course. Is that working? Oh. Mm-hmm. It's not a function. What are you talking about? Huh? It's defined here, dude. I need to use the toilet. I'll be right back. Right. It's not an implicit function. Where are you getting that from? Why do I get this error? That's not the issue. Like, I don't know. Yeah, the preprocessor has not replaced that text. Yes, the header is the first thing. I'm using Clangd. Hello, Speedster Brazil 18. What's up? I am pissed off. Okay. Oh, okay. Not truly pissed off, but like this is pointless, pointless errors. Like, what's the issue? I'm having these pointless errors all the time, and they are just doing nothing, and they make no sense. Handmade math not found. Well, obviously because that's somewhere else. Like I have a macro. That macro is right here. And I'm not. I'm dumb. I have this thing. But I don't need this thing. I was having this like header guard kind of thing. Now I can compile it, I think. Undeclared identifier G. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it won't be an issue. Like the thing is just, sometimes programs and computers and code, it's just frustrating because like you have the weirdest bugs, or you had like right here, I had a quick fix a couple weeks ago, and I just forget. Like obviously, okay, it says here that this is not being used right now from this context. But the context is that it's being used in here. Yeah. And then I don't know. It was just confusing to me. But I'm having a lot of weird issues like that. So now, so yeah, take care and enjoy lurking. Um, OJD saved my file. Open joystick, like I don't know what this is. But yeah, nice that it was. I hope it's working. Like I'm not sure if it's working the way you wrote it. Open joystick display. Okay. Undeclared identifier G. That is in game.h. Can I not use that? Oh, I remember now. I remember why I did this. Yeah, that has to just kind of be there. Okay. So otherwise, else, I'm going to have my assert. It's going to be the TFL assert function call. And the errors, all these things outside. This is if I'm using game macros. It's the only one, I think. No, okay. Let's just go back. Okay. I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to call this TFL assert just to not have any conflicts. But they're calling their actual functions. So this is print A. And we don't print anything if we're not in debug mode. So yeah, the reason was I have two versions of this G variable. Because I'm compiling the game and the main as different. They are different files and they're being compiled different, like separately. See here, source main and source game. So if I would have the game H a global static here, I would have two versions of it, and that would cause an issue. Now it should work. And the reason why is just because this G is these are like void calls, void function calls. The game doesn't know anything about the implementation. I don't want the game to know anything about the operating system. So that's just why I set it up like that. But now it works. We can remove this. It's so much nicer. And again, the game can use just assert because of this. I think that's the like cleanest solution, right? I was really annoyed about this. It's good. Ah, I have this output file now. Definitions, game, main. Mm-hmm. Yes. So this thing we can just delete now. View Explorer. So back to what we were doing. In OpenGL, we have here invalid shader type. I don't think I need to do the like fall through thing. You know, you can do this fall through. I don't think I need to do that here. I think that's a C++ thing. So what do we want to do? In case it's one of those, I want to do this. And otherwise, I want to do this. And this is, it has to be like some kind of block count. I have that. So we can take this value and we can just shove it in there and do plus plus. Now, what I'm noticing here is that, you know, the uniforms and attributes, they are very, very similar. But I don't just, like, I don't want to combine them just yet. Because I don't know if there would be a negative that I'm not predicting. So I think that is fine. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to compile shader. I already have something called very similar to this, create shader program. Could I not just shove it in here? We have the sources. I like this shader program thing. Wait. Yeah, this thing. This kind of need to be like two different things. It needs to be type def struct. Because like, okay, this has the name. And, you know, maybe that makes sense. I don't know. But it's like, it's the actual program and then it's the meta. And if it's like this, like I could just throw in the source there. I don't need a bool. So like my thinking here now is that, okay, I have one shader program. I'm not going to have a lot of them. So it might just as well be, you know, this big blocky thing. It's going to be pretty thick actually, because these things, I can have a number of attributes and all the attributes are having names and so on and so forth. So like this entire thing might be, you know, a kilobyte or something. I don't know if I can get that size of shader program. It's pretty big. And then what I can do is like I have the metadata, which is, you know, the name, the type, and then, or well, the type kind of is not, I don't know. Just let's just call it metadata. What is it? The same song over and over? Okay. What was I thinking about? Right. So like this is pretty chunky, but I'm not gonna have a ton of them, so I can just throw in the source there and all the metadata related to it, and not really care. At least for now. And then I can say that, okay, if it's zero initialized, where the program integer, like it needs to go through the creation program. If it, like basically my idea is that, okay, if this is 0 and these are 0, then it's uninitialized. It needs to load the sources. If the sources are loaded but this is 0, then it needs to be compiled. If it is compiled, these will be cleared, and then you have only this one left, and then you know that, okay, this is like ready to be used. So that's what I'm like thinking. So that means that I can throw in just the shader program. Like I don't need anything else. So I set up all the metadata in my like create shader program thing. But it does mean that, okay, we have we have the sources, we load those, sp via source. Let's call them the same, just to be super specific. Doesn't matter, dude. Yeah, incompatible. Yeah. I don't care. You're not happy? Oh. So that's all good, except we need to put this above here. This is like the metadata I was talking about. And then this thing, well, actually, not that. Same thing here. This can be deleted. And even this free file. No, that should be there, I think. So yeah, we do the same thing. Which includes this. And then the final one. What is this length? Via source. Maybe it's easier to do that here. Eyes pretty itchy today. This below everything. Like everything is. like here's okay. So technically this is 2, but I don't really want to set that here. I want to like count the number of things that I have. So I have a number of uniforms, and I can tell if they are. I can tell if they are a valid type by saying if they're set or not. And then I don't have to do that. And I can do, it's not I. Well, it is I technically. It's the max count. So we are having max count there, and then we are grabbing the uniform. Right? I'm not sure why this is. Is it really returning a uint? I feel like it's very inconsistent what they are returning, if it's uint or not. This is GL unit, a uint. But then this one, it's a GL int. And like, why? Why is that a thing? I don't get it. They should all be fairly low values. Like, I can't imagine that the GL uint is going to be, you know, in the millions. No, billions? It's billions, right? Giga is billion. Equals SP uniforms I. Like, regardless, they are the same size. So like, I don't even know why this would be ever a GL uint. It doesn't make sense to me, but all right. We're taking the U. We're reading the type. Oh, how do I, there. We're reading the type. We get the type. If it's a invalid one, do I need to, I think I need to go to. Just abort, I realized. Um, and then we check the error, and then we go to the next one, except we don't want to go to the next one. We want to abort. So we're going out. Yes. And then we go to the attributes. And same thing for the attributes. So the attributes are going to be what is the type? Do I have a type? I guess I don't have a type. The attributes, where were they? What were the attributes anyway? It's these things like APOS, AUV. It's the like in and out things. And you can see that I'm doing the offset of vertex, position UV. Maybe it would make sense to have a shader attribute type for that. So I can say shed attrib vertex position, right? UV. I think that's all I'm using really. I can add more. Obviously the invalid one. And then it looks very similar to this. This 2. That 2 is dependent on this, which is the like number of these things. A vec2 obviously is 2 floats. The position, if you see here in what is it, game? Two floats. And it wants the stride and the type. So what could I do here? Hmm? What is this type? Excuse me. And we have the name, count, offset, stride. Ah, so GL float. Data type it is. Nah. Really? You want a U8? GL char const. Like I could. How do you write it? GL car const star. Like the buffer literally isn't a const. We can treat it that way. Why? I think I need to restart it. Like, do you do it like this? They are pointers to const cars. I don't really know the difference between these two types. Like, what is the difference between one and the other? I have to check. Like that. Const car, const star. Uh-huh. So we have const car. This I know what I have. Syntax error. What? How is like I get that, but it doesn't. I can read it what it is, but what does it mean? Yeah, the pointer itself can be changed. That's like obviously what I want. Okay, this is a okay. Declare A as a pointer to const car. So it's not the same as this, except that this thing is a constant, right? It's a double pointer. Really? Aha. Aha. Okay. So it literally is this, except it means that. Okay. So again, to reiterate, if I'm having a VS source, you know, it's some buffer. It can have characters A, B, C, D. If this is a car, I can change the numbers. So like I can go and do 0 to a X, and then what it actually means is that my VS source is equal to XBCD, right? Now, if I do const star, I can do this also. That means that, you know, somewhere in the background, I'm having a VS or like VS source 4 equals ABCD. And then I'm doing VS source equals VS source. And if I'm doing that const, it means that this thing can't be, this one can't be changed anymore. Like this is illegal. So I can't do that. But what they are doing, or what this const star means, it's that actually I'm having one buffer and I'm having another buffer, EFGH, right? And then I have this is equal to 1 and 2, for example. And if I have this, then what I can't do is I can't change this to like another buffer in the future. If I have this, I can change it to whatever I want. You know, it's free game. I can't change the content of it, but I can change the pointers themselves. So that is the difference, and that does make sense. But I don't want to do it like that. I can do that, right? Now I'm having that should work. Now this was working before because it's literally 0. Actually, I don't know. Does that make sense that it was working before? This song is coming up all the time. Did I get the shader source? Yeah, it's a string star star. So I don't know why it was working before, but maybe I did something I shouldn't have done. I'm not sure. And probably in here I just called it, you know, car star star. Okay. We only have one source. Yeah, this type. It's the what type is it again? Type data type. Oh, never wrote that. Probably not gonna write it. And here I was in the middle of it. So I'm having the name and I'm having the shader attrib type. It's not that. It is one of the options. The option is vertex pos and vertex UV. I'm not 100% sure this makes sense, but you know, just for now, this is okay. Should I call it like a trip abort? And this can be a uniform abort. Default. We're doing the same as here. Attribute. Yep. We're getting the location no matter what. But I would like to do these things. So if it's position, then we are doing that. Might make sense to do this. And it's of course the offset. Count, no. It's again the same song. The stride. No, I don't, because these are macros. I don't think I actually could make this like a variable thing. Like, I don't think that's the thing. To and floats. But they should be macros, because if I make this into a metadata file, it's going to be not aligned as soon as I start making changes. So it kind of has to be like somewhere in here, I think. So that's the UV. And it's the same stride. I guess the type. Yep. I mean, I know that. Can I do a count equals array count? Is there something like that? Size up. Is there a macro for that? Size of field. Dash member. I can do that. Oh, I have to initialize it. Well, if it's a float, I know it's a float. It means I have to type it out like that, but you know that works. I think. 2 errors. Sure. What was the issue here? Warnings. Oh, I don't even have to do the const. It's automatic. So I'm not actually gonna run it. Like I think it will crash or not do anything. That's the wrong. Here we go. I think it will crash or yeah, it can't compile. Okay, nice. That's not hugely important right now. Size of. Helps if I'm in the right file. Let's see here. So why can't I compile it? Undefined variable UMVP. Beautiful. Great. Thanks. Which huh? This is having projection mat. Um it's having projection mat here. So why are you telling me that there's a undefined UMVP? This file doesn't have it. So where is that coming from? This is the vertex, and this is the pixel shader. There's no model view projection here. Ah, of course. Of course. Could not get uniform location. Which uniform? Uh, okay, that's a clue. Let's just go like this. So we're having the first uniform. It's the projection something. Projection mat. Cannot call a non-function. Undefined variable. Okay. Mm-hmm. I see. I don't know why it's complaining. It's called projection mat. It's right there. Again, not a hugely important thing right now. I want to know I want to know that this is a 2. Why am I doing that in window? I'm still trying to break here, but I can't. Okay, let's just ignore the uniform. Because I don't care. I will look it up later, of course, but I'm not finished doing my edits. I just want to know, could not get the what? Oh, so it means we're never hitting that? Aha. Okay. A trib invalid. Okay, okay. That makes sense. So, what I forget to do is... Well, obviously there's no attributes for this one. Aha. Interesting. Okay. So this is the first call. Type. This is a shed attrib. Vertex pulse. Right? And the second one is color, but color doesn't actually exist anymore. Or does it? 3 errors. Yes. Okay, that's all I wanted to test. And now we can go back to editing the code. So yeah, forget about color. That's color here, right? Yep. Straight is that. This is really boring music. You know, we can play this one. So I want to do the same thing, like yeah, offset off UV color, size of vertex, that's all the same. The type is floats, and the count is UV and color. Now, is there a smarter way to do it than that? I don't think so, but also I don't think I'm gonna have that many different kinds of attributes or vertex structures. So it's probably just worth it to type it out. At least here, I don't have to like everything follows basically. Like all I know it's the vertex position, and then everything else is following that. I still need the name. Hmm. And of course, this uniforms. It's SP. Well, it's the attribute, and it's the type. Yep. I was lazy here. I do VA arc start and So now I can do that. Oh, but can I do it? Hmm. I don't think I can do that. I need to do something different. Do I really need to VS and I need to do this, which is basically the same that I'm doing in the error anyway. I'm just what is this buff? Error message length max. Oh, why not? What is this? This is window. I only need to do it so many times, right? So we have the buff. We do like basically exactly the same thing. And then if the count is too long, this is undeclared because I need standard IO. Yes. So if the count is not too large, we are giving what exactly? We are having the buffer. That's our string. So we just do buff. But that's huge. So like it should never be too small. But anyway, like just to be sure. Do I even need args after, like I'm not using it? OpenGL error that, and then the buff. It's going to tell me some error, right? Non-user breakpoint. Because I'm freeing data. Oh, what? Oh, because I already freed it in the create shader program. I think. I should not do that. That's a bit nicer, right? I can even do like an add uniform, but I don't think, like, because I'm gonna read this anyway from a meta file, so like it doesn't matter. This of course is the shed trib vertex UV. Oh no, it's pos. This is UV. Now I'm fine with copying that. Yep. I think that looks a lot nicer. Of course, we need the free files. Oops. At the end. And now it should run, I think. Well, it's running something. I realized. Down here, I'm having my type. We have the uniform type. Or hold on. Oh, wait. No. Why is that not drawing anything? I would expect it to draw the triangle at least. The attributes are tied to the shader program. I have to look at it in render doc. So I'm trying to draw the triangle. There's no mesh data. There's no color. And the output is 0, of course. When the input is 0, you get the output is 0. So all of my vertices are, well, they should be like in the 0. So then the question becomes, why are they 0? Am I never actually creating those buffers? Or was it set up instead? Is that the only reason? No, it shouldn't be. It's a reason, but it's not the reason. So the reason why is because I am never where's the vertex data coming from? It's the mesh vertex array. It's completely separate from the shader program. So I guess we can expect that. It is a buffer. We're calling bind vertex array, and we are drawing it. 3 indices, and that's it. There's a way to look at the vertex array 54 here. Rename. Oh, I can't view the contents? Really? That's interesting. Okay. I can see. Well, obviously I can see that here it's 0. Maybe that's why I can't inspect it. 12 bytes. So I guess we have to check here when I actually load it. Create mesh object. We have vertexes. We have a count. Like I didn't change anything about this. This data is valid. We initialize the buffer, or we create the buffer, and there's no errors. And that's the buffer we read from later. And the element array seems fine. Right? It's this buffer 56. I can view that, it's fine. And you can also see that I'm drawing like 3 things. So I'm not sure why one buffer would be fine and the other wouldn't. Maybe it's related to the shader, or it probably is, because that's the thing that I was messing with for the past hour and a half. So let's see what we're actually doing here. Because this should be identical to what I was doing before. We're having our VS source. We have both sources here. They both look fine. U MVP, A position, V color, multiply by the MVP, and get the color. And then the next one, we have our V color. I didn't change anything about this. That's all good. Of course, we also have our uniforms. We're having the uniform matrix. That's the one. We're having the attribute, position and color. Probably I'm not adding the count here or something like that. So excuse me, we're creating the shader. The shader compiles just fine. We're storing that. We're having pixel shader, vertex shader. We create our program. We attach it, no errors. Attach pixel shader, no errors. We link it, no errors. And then we do the detachment, because if we would destroy it in the future, like this has to do with COM objects, and like every time you link something, you need to delink it, otherwise it like adds up or something. I'm not super familiar with it, but like apparently you want to detach it as soon as you are finished linking it, and it doesn't destroy it. It's still created. If I would like detach the shader itself, or not create, basically there's a reference counter, and this reference counter, when I'm creating the shader and I have this GLU int, it goes to 1 from 0, and then I attach the shader, and then it goes to 2. And then I detach the shader, it goes back to 1. And if I ever want to destroy this thing, it will go to 0, and then it would be freed. That's my understanding of it. So I don't want to like destroy it here because then it doesn't exist anymore, but I can just like immediately detach it so that it stays at 1, so I can easily just like destroy it later if I want to. Probably I would want to destroy the program first, but you know, this is a separate topic. So that's just shortly how it works as far as I understand it. Then we have our shader uniforms. I have my type. It's invalid. Interesting. So what is you saying here? Because that's definitely not what I have here. Oh, it is invalid. The ind. Aha. Okay. Okay. Shader uniform. I need the header file, of course. So the type always needs to be right after the name. That should be good enough. No? Okay, so we need to keep debugging. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, delink it or detach. The first one, the name is UMVP. We get it into the correct program. We store it. That should be you. Though it shouldn't have it shouldn't create an issue right now. Like they should be equivalent, right? So yeah, no problem. We get the uniform location. We store it in the index. Now, it can be 0, right? It can be. Invalid. I should probably do another error check there. So let's go back here. Check error. I could not get uniform location. And new line. You name. Same here, get uniform block location. Is there an error? No error. So it can be 0. Oh, I am checking it? So never mind then. Forget about that. So we go to the next one. This is invalid. Because it is invalid because it's not set up. Also, like I said, I don't think this actually increased. Yeah, this is 0. So if we have this error, we need to return an error. Otherwise, we do sp attrib count. No. Like that. Yeah? No? You're confused, mate. What? Ah, I forget the if check. Now I'm pretty confident it should work. It wasn't even the right error message. So this message is could not get the vertex attribute. Uh-huh. Embla. What is this? Mm-hmm. So, okay. SP, what is this? Position and color. We are currently on position. What? How did that happen? And this is for the first triangle. Mm-hmm. This is data type. Create mesh object. Here. It's data type. So the data type couldn't be 0. That's probably why it was failing. And now it's working. And in fact, I think I can do this. No. Probably create mesh font. Is it something here? No, but I'm probably just not setting up the data correctly. So let's see. Errors detected with draw call. Uh-huh. No vertex shader bound at draw. Interesting. How did that happen? I gotta check that. So we have the mesh. The mesh has a shader program. Is that accurate? I have a feeling that is not accurate. Uniform count. No, this is completely wrong. Huh? Okay. Discography. Delete that. So this is our shader program right now. We have, it's pretty much 0. We don't have any attributes. We have several uniforms. I am creating the shader and compiling it, and the compilation was a success. Thank you. Same with the pixel shader. Success. Oh, it's not a success. What does the log say? Undefined variable U texture. That makes sense, but the error message didn't print. What is going on here? It wasn't this one. It was this one. Yeah. Oh, it should be an error, not a print. No, shader program. Now it will tell me. Shader could not compile. Error. Undefined variable U texture. Yes. And the reason is, of course, that ooh. The sampler is called texture. I can't call it that. Texture. Well, so what is it then? Raster. That works. Okay. And then here, it's not texture, it's raster. Yeah, that makes sense. So hopeful. Okay, now we don't have any errors. Create our program. So we have the first one. It's transmat, like projection mat, I don't know. That's fine. It's a 0. We check the error. There's no issue. Uniform count is +1. Next uniform is a what? Raster. It's texture slots. No errors. Next one is color. True. Negative. It shouldn't be able, like, it shouldn't be negative. What is the return? Return is -1. Why is it -1? This function returns -1 if name does not correspond to an active uniform variable in program. It's right there. I don't know what to do because this color is definitely there and it's definitely here. So that also brings up an interesting thing. These where is it? So this uniform location, it returns -1. So not only do we need to check the error, we also need to do if you and then we do another error check. So it's not an error because the name is like the name exists. Like it's funny how they made this. Like the value is not invalid or anything like that. The operation is not invalid, but the result is invalid. So we can't use that. And then the question is why? Why is that? Where was I here? Of course, I can't build while I'm running the program. Yes. And it's exactly this one, color. Now, why is that? So I have this. I have to call it in uniform. That's the reason. It doesn't allow. Aha. Okay. Like it's crazy to me because like it's okay. I have this shader. and I call it that should not be like that. That's funny. It's uname. Yeah, I do this. But IDX equals -1. It has no effect on the final output. Thank you so much for telling me that. But that is not. There we go. Okay, so now I just have to set this to something different and I can control the color. Beautiful, great, I love it. Perfect, thanks. Ugh. I hate when, like, I should definitely have just like some thing to say, is it debug mode or is it optimized mode? And if it's debug mode, just please don't remove it. And if you remove it, at least tell me about removing it, or like, I don't know. The fact that I put it here and I didn't use it yet shouldn't mean that it doesn't compile. Like the error message is wrong, in my opinion. Like, yes, it's gone because you removed it, but you removed it because it wasn't used. But I didn't use it because I was just testing it out. You could tell me, oh, this color is not existing, but I don't know. Like, I don't like that kind of design. That's all I can say. The last thing, I kind of achieved what I wanted with the this function graphics setup. I don't think I'm gonna get away from that like this for now, because all of this stuff should just be like in a meta file about the shader, and then the meta file is having, you know, the source to this and the source to that, and it has this metadata, right? Um, so that's fine. I don't like this being, you know, 10 entities and outside of the main draw loop. So that's something I could work on, but it's already been 3 hours. I think I'm just gonna have to come back tomorrow. I'm pretty hungry, actually. So that's fine for today. I think, you know, I think that's much better than it was before. Yeah, like, just reiterate. For tomorrow, the mesh font is an entity. The entity has this, but something you might notice is that it doesn't have a size. it has a scale and it has the vertices that kind of determine the size, like scale and mesh. I think I was editing rotation. But then the question becomes, well, what is the size of the text? So obviously I can just draw it like I do at a certain size. And this size is determined by the literal pixel values. And then I just draw a bunch of them and they go off to the side because I never just define a size. I'm just saying, oh, draw everything one after the other. But that's probably not a great way to do things. I would like to be able to contain it within some size, maybe. Because right now, okay, this is anchored like here, and then I'm drawing and it just goes. And I can limit the size, but like, let's say I resize. If I resize like this, should this ramp or not? I don't know. It's just something to think about. Regardless, it should not be like I have it right now, where every character is one entity or something. I should have one entity that is the font, and then I can like decide based on that. And also, it should be part of the same draw call. It shouldn't be like outside like this. But yeah, I think that's it for today. So thank you for watching. Hello. And yeah, have a good day.